Well, the business environment has changed totally. Over the summer, we've gone from a situation where our members, on balance, were much more optimistic about future prospects for the wider UK economy, to a situation, sadly, where just slightly more people are pessimistic about the UK economy over the next 12 months than are optimistic. And these are typically small and medium-sized businesses, 85% outside London, Institute of Directors members. So these are the individuals actually leading their firms. They're saying that their costs are expected to rise to a greater extent than their revenues in the 12 months coming up. And our sense is that this is attributed to a number of factors. There's the widely publicised supply chain problems that are affecting all different sectors of the economy. And of course, just as our poll went into the field in early September, the government said that it would be raising employers' national insurance, which is basically a flat tax on employing people, regardless of what your profits are doing. So we think that that's probably had an effect as well.
Yeah, I mean, anecdotally, talking to a lot of business leaders over the last week, it really feels to me as though that was the moment sentiment started to sour. It was these national insurance increases.
Yes, I mean, we really feel it's quite an extraordinary time to be raising the cost of employing people just as the furlough scheme comes to an end, and when there are already sort of supply issues in the labour market. We know that there are staff shortages. Our members are telling us that they're having staff shortages. Around a half of IOD members are reporting that to us, and they're very concerned about it. And interestingly, whilst there is a bit of a sort of pandemic and Brexit effect, the majority of those firms that say they are experiencing shortages of staff are saying that this is a long-term sort of endemic problem, and they're very much looking to government, I think, and there's a budget obviously coming up in a month or so. They're looking to government to do something about it. And so I think what today's data shows is that this is very real in terms of how businesses are feeling that the environment has changed. We have definitely no longer got the sort of post-pandemic euphoria that we saw in the summer. In fact, firms are feeling the same about the economy as they did in the height of the third lockdown, which is slightly concerning. And why does this matter? Well, because if you think that the sort of overall wider economic outlook is looking a bit cloudy, then of course you're less likely to feel confident enough to invest, to put your firm's retained profits or your shareholders' cash into investing for a sort of medium-term plan. And that's not good for future prospects and not good for government tax revenues in the future either. Okay.
Well, Kitty, I mean, you're a former economic secretary to the Treasury in the last Labour government. What would you be doing in the government's shoes? I mean, they've obviously got a colossal budget deficit. Borrowing has gone through the roof. I mean, they have to do something to try and restore order to the public finances, don't they?
Absolutely, and nobody disputes that. What has happened over the last few months, however, is that tax revenues have come in at a faster rate than was anticipated at the time of the last budget. And of course, it's a rise in corporation tax plus a hike to national insurance that is currently doing the heavy lifting in terms of how the debt consolidation plan is expected to operate. So I think the message from the latest economic data is perhaps the government has slightly kind of overshot in what it's doing, and it's starting to have a very real effect on the economy. So maybe time to sort of recalibrate and think again about how they're going to consolidate finances into the medium term.